3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome to the Monday edition of the Dennis and Andy Show. It feels like it's been forever, Dennis. That's all I'm going to say.
It has been almost forever. I mean, man, I leave the state for like 10 days, and it just feels like the whole world came crashing down. So it is so good to be back.
Last week at this time, it was me rolling solo with our guest Tom Zoller. From Love and Capes and My Little Pony fame, and former Kubert School student. He was a year behind me actually at the Kubert School. And then Wednesday, we left to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee for a few days. So no show Friday, and now we're back. The boys are back together.
And then the Friday before, I had to run that one solo because you were gone. You had family in town. Just the way it rolls. So man, it feels good to be back from Florida.
I know. Did you have a good time?
Had a blast. Did lots at Universal. You know, everybody knows my wife's a huge Harry Potter, so we spent days at Harry Potter. We did the Everglades. We went down to the Keys. We went over the 7 Mile Bridge from True Lies and saw where they blew it up in the movie and everything like that. It was awesome.
Whoa. Spoiler alert, Dennis. Spoiler alert. Good Lord.
Hey, if anybody watching this has not seen True Lies by now, I don't care if I spoiled it. Just saying.
Let me tell you, Dennis, for a guy that was in Florida for a week, you're as white as I am. So no tan.
Well, no, it's hard to tell because I got a dumb light up here because I'm in my backup recording spot because my laptop took a dive on me tonight. I had some technical support. So, yeah, I'm on my third computer, so I'm stuck with a really white light. I actually did get some sun.
All right. I'll be the judge of that Wednesday when I actually see you in person.
All right. So, Andy, in my absence, it looks like you booked a couple of fantastic guests.
I did, and we're going to bring them on. We are talking to 2 creators. We only pimped one, but Don worked the magic, and we got the artist in the house too. So we've got, as I like to call him, hopefully he won't mind this, Dandy Don Chin.
Hey guys.
And bombastic Bill Mouse.
Hey, Don.
How's that?
Bill's
mic
good.
is off.
Hey,
Bill.
There it is.
my microphone is off. Good to see you guys.
How's it going, Bill? Nice to meet you. I've never met you.
Nice, very nice to meet you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I apologize for forgetting.
Yeah, we're the old guard in comics, kind of.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, well,
90s.
How long have you been doing it? Yeah, okay, you've got me beat.
86 was when the Hamsters came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the old guy.
So Don's the OG. I came in on the scene around 91. So
okay, so Bill and I are the
first.
same because I started in 91 as well.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, we got you on number, Don.
I can remember back in the day when I first did it.
That looks familiar. Awesome.
Yeah, I hope it does. I was like, and I can still remember Zen, the intergalactic ninja, and I'm like, I remember like Walmart and some of the other stores were actually having him in their shit. I'm like, how are retail stores getting comics? And I was like, whoa! So I was blown away. So I remember going to picking that up.
Yeah, that was quite an experience signing all of those for Walmart. I had books lined up.
How many did you have to sign?
Yeah, you might have to help me, Don. I want to say there were like 7,500 copies.
Wow.
Like, there's something. It was a lot. I remember that I had books lined up all the way across the downstairs and the upstairs of my house.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's still
kind of a little assembly line so I can get them all done. Oh, for sure.
So now I got to ask. I know what Zen is. I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't remember is, Don, were you involved with that as well?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
the story, Andy, was Steve Stern created Zen, you know, on the East Coast, kind of a small press thing. And then it got picked up by Surge Licensing, the guys that made the Turtles a huge sensation. So it was going to be licensed in toys and, you know, the whole 9 yards for that. And they went to Archie first, and they started doing kind of the Archie sanitized version of Zen. And then their license ran out. So Steve Stern, the creator of Zen, was looking for kind of a more edgy company. And I don't know how we met Steve, Bill, but somehow we crossed paths. And Bill and I were doing Parody Press at the time. We didn't have a superhero imprint, and we didn't think Zen, you know, should be a Parody Press title. So we created Entity Comics, which was our sister company that did more of the Nira X, Zen, Aster, you know, kind of the 90s image.
Dude, I have Aster. I like that. Cool. I liked Aster. I think I have them all.
Jay Lee did the first cover.
What's that?
Jay Lee did the first cover. We had Casada on the second. We had a bunch of big talent back in the day doing our covers.
Hey Don, didn't you spot a copy of Aster on the Batman TV show?
Yeah, just about a month and a half ago.
On the rack. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
There's a comic book
is that the one that had the Green Lantern too?
Yeah, Ethan
was talking about. Yeah.
So, anyways, so Zen came to be our kind of our flagship title for Entity. Yep. And Steve Stern said, you know, I really want to get newsstand distribution on this book. So we took out a big loan, and we had them all over the place. So that's why you saw them on like Walmart, and Dennis has a copy with the UPC code on it. So we had both distribution in stores, comic book stores, direct market, and newsstand. But believe me, newsstand isn't where the money's at. I think it's all mafia driven.
But as of now, Zen is still owned by somebody else, right?
Oh, for sure. It's a creator-owned title. Steve Stern and Dan Cody are the co-creators of Zen, and they're currently being.
Aster was brought to us by a Philippines studio. Like they were friends with Will Spartacio, and they were looking for their first break. A whole bunch of young Filipino artists. So we got their portfolio in black and white, and this was about the same time Billy Tucci was doing She, and we just said, this guy looks like a young George Perez.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Yes.
Oliver Isabedra, and he was just this young kid, and we said, wow, this guy's good. And then they had a whole bunch of other guys that were really good. So, in fact, Jay Anacleta, who does a lot of work for Image, he was one of those guys. And then Lionel Francis Yu was one of those guys. Yeah. So we published those guys really early before they made it to Marvel and DC.
So whatever happened to the I can't pronounce his name.
Oliver?
Whatever happened to him?
I actually heard Perez was so impressed with him. He actually did some work with Perez, and then for some reason he just dropped off the face of the earth. I don't think he's cartooning anymore, which is a shame. But we kind of lost contact with those guys after, the late 90s when the market kind of imploded.
Sure.
But Jay and Lionel are still obviously going strong.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's really cool. So starting with Don, what is it that got you into comics in the first place?
Andy, I was kind of raised in a restaurant environment, so I had a lot of time when my parents were working at a restaurant to just read, and so I just gravitated towards comic strips in the newspaper. And then someone gave me a Peanuts collection, so I got really into Charles Schulz. And then it just kind of gravitated into the normal, Harvey, kids appropriate age stuff. Right, and then as I got older, I got into superheroes. But I always had a fondness for humor and kind of a weird humor, like Far Side and Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine. So those were kind of my go-to books growing up, were satires. Like Cracked and Mad. And then Cracked was the very first thing I ever got professionally published in, which was like 1984. Oh,
what was it?
Cracked number 200. Oh, I'm sorry. I had some poster ideas, and eventually they let me do some panel by panel stories. But honestly, I really wanted to do the movie parodies because that was the first thing I would ever read when you bought Cracked and Mad were the movie parodies. So that's kind of what got me going. And that's why, you know, Bill and I are doing what we're doing now is because of people like John Severin and, you know, Mort Drucker and those guys.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Thank you. Did you read it in Mad or Cracked?
Yeah, I have. I also like Crazy. Crazy was Marvel's, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like
Crazy
because of Mean Green Teen Hulk. Remember that?
I kind of do a little bit. Crazy had like the clown was their mascot.
Yeah,
right?
Noxio the clown.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I bought Mad and those magazines sporadically, mostly when they did the superhero stuff. And I still have like the Christopher Reeve where he's on the cover with his boxers and his hands on his head. I still have that Mad magazine. I've got a bunch of them. They're just packed away. But I did like that stuff. And just like you, I like the parodies. Of course, I love Mort Drucker.
Mort's a classic. I mean, it's his caricature, like it's he would capture like the actual essence of those actors, and so that always like attracted me to the book even before the humor would keep me with the stories. I was just like that artwork was always so captivating, you know.
Yeah.
How about you, Dennis? Were you a fan of humor stuff?
Yep, very much. Matter of fact, it was Mad, Cracked, Bananas, Dynamite, and so you know, and that was going when I was you know, in grade school. They had the Scholastic, and that's my mom always said you can get whatever books you want in there. Well, they were always that's what I wound up picking up. And then anything to deal with, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, X-Men fan, so if anything popped out there like that, Star Wars, those are the ones I picked up.
Awesome. Yeah, Star Wars, anything Scholastic, I was devouring back in like 1977, 78.
You know, back in the Dynamite magazine days.
Yeah, Dynamite magazine. That brings back memories.
Yeah, I don't think I even heard of that until Dennis told me about it probably last year sometime. We were talking about the humor stuff, and I bring some over because you still have them, right?
I don't have mine anymore. Yeah, mine died of worthy death.
Probably just Googled it then or something, but I never even heard of it before.
My mom threw them out when she threw out all my when I went off to college. I had all my Mego Star Trek stuff, my Star Wars and G1 transporters, and she threw them all out because she said, "Well, you're too old. You're not going to need them anymore." My Dynamites, my Bananas, they all went. They all went.
Some people don't know. They don't know.
Moms.
Well, it made her feel bad, and if she's listening and listens to this at all, she's going to feel bad again because I can remember Wizard magazine. I remember breaking it open because they had the toys listed back there once in a while, as well as the comic books. And I had the original, you know, 70s Mego Star Trek Enterprise playset. And I says, you understand what you threw away? She goes, it's just an old toy. You and your brother don't play with them. So I opened it up and showed her what it was worth, and her jaw dropped. She goes, how was that thing worth $500? And I'm like, you didn't ask. I was 20 miles away. They do have phones. So she has felt guilty.
She doesn't appreciate the genius of the fact that they turned the turbo lift into a spinny thing that was actually the transporter. I was like, all right, they made very good use of space. I appreciate good design even as a child. You know,
I remember that too.
See it. I actually I went and repurchased an original one off of eBay years ago, and then Diamond Select went in. Found a company, had them re-engineer it because that technology didn't exist anymore in order to recreate it. So I went and bought a brand new one from Diamond with some of the new figures. So I now have them all again. But it's taken me a lot of years.
Tell you, beat 70s technology and what the future is supposed to be.
Yep. It was still the best.
Oh man! But
everybody knows I'm a huge X-Men fan that watches, and you know that's the one thing that I've collected since the mid 70s. So I finally completed my collection, and anything X-Men I wind up picking up. So you know, there's the original
Sweet.
along
That's
with
the
the
original.
parodies and all of that kind of stuff. So when I heard you, well, I knew Don was coming on, and I was like, hey, I says, I know I've got this sitting right out here because every once in a while I'll read it.
Hey,
Cool,
that was our first project together. That's how I met Don in the first place.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I was gonna
Getting
ask
that
That's cool.
getting that first gig with Eclipse Comics.
We
That's,
were
cool.
Dennis, back in the day, we were supposed to have McFarlane do the cover for that book. But
I remember.
It fell through, unfortunately.
Oh,
but
no.
it still sold really well. We sold like 80,000 copies of that book. And
Wow.
Really?
That is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that today?
I know.
Oh.
We would be like,
Oh, dude,
Kings.
I'd have a drink with an umbrella, like as one of my props right here next to me on the computer right now.
I remember.
We're selling that many copies right now.
I mean, you remember back then, Marvel and DC looked at 80,000 like, oh, we might have to cancel this book.
I know.
It's below 100.
Well, think about it. Back then too, we had and Don, you can help me with this number. I think we had like 25 different distributors that we actually shipped with. It was 25 or 30. I mean, there was even an individual distributor in Hawaii. They would order like 5.
Yeah,
copies.
there was like about 20. Yeah, about 20.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. You know, so for it to, I forgot what year the exclusive conundrum started happening between Diamond and Heroes World and everything else. So our other distributors, because comic shops, they'll order from a distributor that gives them their biggest bulk discount. You know, so they want to order from one source, so that way they get a bigger discount on the amount of things that they bring into the store. So now they're being forced to order exclusive things from separate catalogs. So it's almost like all the little distributors on the side, they all went under, or they stopped being used by comic shops because, you know, even in the best of times, it's a difficult business to make flourish, you know.
Right.
So when things got extra tight, they really had to make some decisions.
Well, that book still holds a special spot in my heart because for those who don't know, it's black and white. And I remember opening up the comic book and going, "Where's the color?" You know, all my books are color. How is it? I don't want to read a black and white book, but I'm like, but it's X-Men type thing, so I'm going to read it anyway. And I loved it so much. And I remember going, oh, I guess they don't have to be color. And I've enjoyed it. So this is the first book that was actually black and white interior that I read. And I'm like, that's what converted me into not caring if they're color or black and white.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm honored.
That means a lot. Yeah, no joke. Yeah, for sure.
But just in case you do like color, Dennis, we do have X-Farce Reloaded, which is color now. So
it's an extra feature.
I'll be waiting for my copy now that I'm back home.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Thank you. I'm packing. I'm about.
Andy's the one who told me. He goes, dude, get on right now. And I said, what? He goes, you know that X-Farce? He goes, they've got a sequel coming out. I'm like, no way. So yeah, I went on there and found it, and sure enough, I'm like, yep, I ordered it.
Oh, thanks, Dennis. I appreciate it. I'm about 30% done packing, the orders and trying to fit that in with my day job. You know what it's like, Andy. You probably did it in your garage or whatever, and it takes up a lot of space. And you got to get the Gemini mailers in the bags. Bill, you need to come over here and help me, my friend.
I was gonna drive it. I think it's 3,000 miles to your house.
Oh my God! So Bill, where are you? Are you West Coast?
I'm back on the East Coast again. I did
West Coast.
Yeah, I'm in California. Bill's in Virginia. I don't want to dox him, but something that starts with V. Some state that starts with V.
Oh, see, I didn't know you were in California. For some reason, I thought you were East Coast as well, Don. So.
Only for when we first launched Entity, my wife and I decided to pack up California, and we actually went to the same city where Bill's from. We just figured the base of operation should be all together. And that was really quite experienced. I mean, we had our homes were converted into these computer studio, comic book studios. We did our own color separations, Andy. We had pre-press machines.
That was such a great time. Yep.
Yeah, we worked there.
That is an era. That's an era of my life that has its own box. It's like its own set of memories. Just from that whole adventure, that was really cool. That was really cool.
So, how long did you stay out there for before you moved back to Cali?
Probably like 4 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some family things come up that we needed to get back here. But where we lived over there was really beautiful, and I never really experienced the 4 seasons. You know, there were snowstorms and ice storms and hurricanes, and it was
and lava storms.
So
it goes from one extreme to the other.
It was nice. Bill's lived on the West Coast before, but not where I'm from. I'm way up north where the Ewoks are, and he was down in San Diego.
When I get my speeder bike,
no.
I'm sorry, what was that, Andy?
Are you up north in California to the point where you get snow? Or not
there is snow nearby, but I'm on the coast, so it's kind of rare for it to snow. But if you just went like a half hour up a mountain, you would see snow. We're like an hour from Oregon, so we're very all the redwood trees, and it's where they filmed Return of the Jedi. You know, the speeder scene.
Oh, cool.
So that Ewok was no joke.
That was no joke there. Yeah,
that is accurate.
They're illegitimate
to your locale.
Illegitimate children of Bigfoot, I think.
So you're within driving distance to take the trek up if you're a Twilight fan up to Forks.
Forks. Yeah, I guess. Is that where they filmed that?
Yeah, we had to take. So we're out in Charlotte, and we actually had to take. We took a trip all the way out, going west, and went all the way out to Washington, Oregon, Northern California. And of course, my daughter was a huge Twilight fan. So yes, she dragged me all the way out to Forks to see the cutout of Bill up in a window in somebody's house, because that was the house that they filmed the outside in. That was the excitement.
Nice.
Yeah, my son's down in Riverside. That's where he's teaching and stuff down in Riverside. So I get out to Southern California every once in a while, over by LA there.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then Tyson's Corner was where my sister-in-law. So we would be up several times a year up to Tyson's Corner up in Virginia.
I got you. Yeah. I miss San Diego. That 75 degrees year-round situation is pretty addicting.
It is nice. It's just too damn expensive.
It is super nice. Oh, the expenses. That's one of the reasons that I'm on the East Coast. That's one of the reasons I came back here.
I hear you. I love going out there just because the weather's so great, but it's just so expensive. So.
Yep.
Hey,
but
Don,
I travel. I go out there every year.
Yeah. Don, North 3 wants to know if, as you can see, will you be writing parodies regularly from now on?
I think I would love to. We've got other kind of plans to do some, remastered parody press projects, but I was actually asked by RJ from Thomas Valiant to contribute a story for his next project, and it's kind of a throwback to the 70s superheroes, and so that will have a little bit of a parody influence. That probably won't be coming out for a while, but I've been talking to him, and he's kind of looking for a humorous, style for that particular story. As the muse strikes, I would write parodies. I feel if it's forced, it's not fun, and it just has to be the right timing. So when Keanu said, I'm going to do this comic book with Boom Studios, and I saw the trailer, I just said, this is comedy gold. And so that's why BRZRKR was born. And then
let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
And if you have a screen you want to share, pop it in. I'll pull it up and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So when you first saw it, that's when it hit, huh? That's when you were like, oh my God, this is just, with the BRZRKR.
The light bulb.
And the light went off. You were like, I got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you saw the trailer that he did where he looks like he's speaking from a tent. I thought it was pretty funny. And we spoof it pretty much verbatim on our trailer. So if you want it, if you want me to share the,
you can play it.
Okay. So let me make sure I'm sharing my audio, because I don't think I chose that option.
Okay.
They always make the share audio thing like tiny.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little tiny box to check off. Yeah, it's super easy to miss. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
All right. So is that the campaign on the screen? Awesome.
There it is.
There you go. Oh,
okay.
cool.
So we launched this back on April 1st with Michael Bancroft.
Perfect
and he helped us out. And so as you can see, our goal is 7,000, and we're at about 44%. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So here's the trailer. We had the guys from Ascension Cinema that does a lot of the stuff for Ethan and I think Shane, and so they put this together for us. This is the second trailer they've done for us. The first one was the X-Farce one. So let me go ahead and make this big.
Yep.
And we'll get it going.
Big chunk.
All right.
Comics are totally awesome. And I'm totally awesome too. BRZRKR has everything you want from a comic book. It's got great drawings, colors, great story. It's got great action, has a little romance, and it's about something. Not just any something. It's a parody of something. And I was like, well, I used to collect and I love comic books. And they were like, so, did you ever want to make a comic book? And I was like, yeah. And then Parody Press was like, oh, yeah. So they made a comic book that's a parody of my comic book. And it will probably be pretty hilarious, because that's what a parody is. Or at least what it's supposed to be. You know, this idea of kind of like a rock and roll warrior, someone in an altered state, someone with a big guitar axe, then a pet cat that's from the hood, just out of control. Speaking of out of control, there's his beard. It gets bigger and longer throughout the book until it takes on a fantastical life of its own. It's like, whoa! So check it out. If you do, I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. But honestly, I didn't really do that much, other than rambling on about comics and books. I mean, comic books. Wait, what was I saying? Oh well. Enjoy! BRZRKR from Parody Press. Back it today!
Dude, that is awesome.
Thank you.
And you've got the beard, so that is
He's got the beard.
How did that happen?
it grew during the thing.
It's amazing. It's the power of BRZRKR.
Who did the voice?
Yeah, I went to Fiverr, which is an app, and you can find talent there. And this guy says, "I'll do a Keanu Reeves impersonation for you." You know, it's pretty reasonable. And I looked at his samples, and we sent him this. We sent him the script to our trailer, and he delivered it pretty much within the next day. And you kind of pay for the rights to make it for distribution a little bit more, but it's very reasonable. And the same, we had a different actor for our X-Farce do the Patrick Stewart, but this guy did a really good job. And when he saw the whole trailer come together, he was really honored to be part of the
he can use it as part of his portfolio. So
exactly, yeah. So we were really pleased. Bill's artwork, we pulled this thing together. We had a bunch of images, and we needed to have somebody kind of pretend like he was, talking like Keanu. So I asked Bill to do those, portraits, and then they were kind of animated in a light way.
Yeah.
That
is freaking awesome. Hey, Daniel, thanks you for joining.
Hey, Daniel, thank you. So I started a special perk for your viewers tonight. So for 24 hours, if viewers of the Dennis and Andy and Dennis show want to get all 6 variants, which we can cover in this show, you can pick it up for $69, which is a little bit of a break from the normal $90 cover price for the 6.
Oh, that's awesome.
So cool. I'll show you some of the covers if you want. Any questions about the trailer, or do you just want me to kind of
you can take us through it. I mean, the trailer looked good. How many pages is the book going to be?
We've got 32 full color.
Nice.
It's drawn, pencil and inked by Bill.
Yep.
And his wonderful daughter, whose name is Cat Mouse, is our colorist. And
that's awesome.
Keith Gleason, who's the Mighty Mascots writer for Alterna, he's our letterer. So we've got a crew of 5, and then my wife Laura is our graphics person who does all the behind the scenes work. But let me go ahead and show you the campaign here, Andy and Dennis. So this piece right here is by Jim O'Reilly. Yeah. And Jim is a really great artist, and he actually rock and roll. Yeah, I told him to try to do kind of this riff on the original Bill and Ted movie poster, and he did an awesome job incorporating all the different elements in our comic book. And you guys probably remember in the original Bill and Ted that he used a phone booth to travel. But now it's 2021 and we don't have phone booths, so there's actually a porta potty that's nuclear powered that will take him underground to anywhere he wants to go. So that's his means of transportation. You've got some different German agents here, which I'll kind of tell you about it as we scroll down. Sure. But so that will probably be at least a pinup or a back cover on the book. But I just really thought it was a spectacular piece of artwork. And then, of course, Bill brings his almost 30 years now, Bill, of comic book experience.
Crazy, right? Yeah, 91. Yeah. I'm scared to do the math anymore.
Yeah, about 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
Bill,
comic book veteran.
Exactly. This is a sample of kind of what you can expect on the inside. This is his pencils and inks, and then Stefani Renee actually did this kind of a pinup piece for us. So as you can see, kind of just by the trailer, he's awakened from a coma. There's a Rick Astley earworm pandemic, so everybody's basically turned into Rick Astley singing zombies for some mysterious reason, which is why BRZRKR is woken up, because all the productivity in the world has been grinding to a halt. So anyways, he wakes up, and this is some of the artwork from the inside where he gets equipped, to be a soldier of fortune. He wakes up, with the body of a superhero, but he's still got the mind of a teenager. So he's a little bit simple-minded. In the trailer, you can see he has a super guitar axe, which is called the Shredder, and it's powered by the rock gods like ZZ Top, Eddie Van Halen. So that's kind of his weapon of choice. And then his friend who he's been missing for this last 30 years has gone off on an intergalactic peace mission, and unfortunately he's not there when he wakes up, but he does leave him a cat, which he calls Cat Stevens, to kind of keep him company. So Cat Stevens is his cat. And so we've got some really great covers. The first one's by Kane and White.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and that's colored by Matt Yackey.
Yeah.
So that's our first cover. And then courtesy of Billy Tucci, he let Bill fulfill a lifelong dream, which was to actually do She in a legitimate piece of artwork.
30 years in the making. I've been sitting across him at Comic-Con for 30 years waiting for this moment.
There you go.
So there's a She appearance on a variant cover, and we were going to have a fan vote, like, which caption do you like better, La Holy She or What Is She Doing Here, which is the second one. So
yeah, that's a good one. Man.
Thank you. So that's cover two.
That's Parody Press history, Don. That's the first time we've ever had a legitimate character within the context of a parody.
You're right. Yeah. So Billy was kind enough to let us use she on his, on this cover, and that's also colored by Matt Yackey. And then another big announcement that we had just prior to the launch was Ethan let us use Rainbow the Brute on a variant cover. So you've got Preston Azevedo doing an amazing Frank Frazetta-ish painted piece with Rainbow and then BRZRKR in the back, and evidently Rainbow won, and he gets to hijack the cat as his,
That's
steed.
awesome. That is so cool. We already picked it up.
So this one's coming out in June. So I think this is actually going to come out before Ethan's book. So I don't know, Dennis, do you think, would this be like the first appearance of Rainbow according to the...
It very well could.
According to the laws of comics. Yeah.
The funny thing is, if it comes out beforehand, it will not only be the first regular appearance, first cameo, because he would be on it, it would also be the first cover appearance.
Wow.
Nice.
I better overprint that one.
That's right. Well, you got it. You get talk to Ethan about signing some. Maybe you never know.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
So Preston had a great time with that because Rainbow the Brute's only like 6 inches tall, and I was thinking, how do you do a cover where they're fighting each other? Because Preston says, I got an idea, and this is what he came up with, which I thought
that is awesome.
It's pretty brilliant.
That is great.
So that's our third cover, guys. And then our fourth one, because I'm such a big Jack Kirby fan, I reached out to Dax Martian, who's a wonderful artist, and he did this great like 70s Kirby-esque cover.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so that's number 4. Number 5 is by Bill's one of his fellow artists in the Virginia area named Thad Rhodes. That has a very, very cool photorealistic style, as you can see.
Yeah.
Kind of Drew Struzan like.
Yeah.
So we did a movie poster version of our cover, and it's rated PG for pretty gnarly.
Now, is that original or is that digital? The way he works.
You tell me, Bill. You've seen him. I've not seen Thad work, but does he airbrush and?
He does. It's very multimedia. There is a lot of computer when he does the layout. He'll put all the reference material in where it needs to be. But when you look at when he has the actual black and white pencil drawing, you'll see what the drawing is that's underneath the digital colors. So he draws so well that you really got to take a close look at it before you think it's just photoshopped pieces that are put together. Because I just can't wait to see his because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the actual pencil drawing that's underneath the colors here. But it's exciting. And sometimes he draws like 11 by 17 kind of size, but sometimes he draws these pieces like 30 by 40. They're really big, like the size of a mat board. It's almost a movie poster sized drawing, just to get all the detail in. And then when you shrink it down really small, it really does have a cool look to it.
That's cool.
I was gonna say, Andy, the book was announced, the BRZRKR book was announced last fall, but there was no real, plot or anything that we knew about. So we kind of had to go, by the seat of our pants, imagining what the story might be. But this was one of the first images that Boom released. So I showed this to Thad. So that's where you can see the similarity in his cover to this particular piece, like with the different agents and the girl, and so that's his inspiration on this cover.
That's cool.
So that's the 5th cover, and then last but not least, the good guys Mike McMahon and Mark Polton let us use U.S. Assassin for a wraparound cover, and so you've got BRZRKR, U.S. Assassin, Holly, who's the female love interest in the book, and we said wouldn't it be cool to have her kind of looking really pretty, but with the U.S. flag draped around her. So you've got them on the front, and then the back cover are the two pets, Bazooka Dog and Cat Stevens, getting along and basically wreaking havoc. So that's, those are the 6 covers. And, cool. We've got different stretch goals. We're almost halfway to the funding. This is just kind of telling you about the characters.
The guy with the shades looks a lot like Rufus, George Carlin.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
His name is Rupert. His name is Rupert, and he says he knows the 7 words you can't say in this parody.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's Holly. She's kind of based off of Holly Berry, as you could probably guess from.
Yeah.
And then there's your Murder Hornets, and these are some of the bad guys that are the German that want to take over the world. So we've got like different incentives, die cut stickers, which we've already actually fulfilled for the first 35 backers.
Cool.
This is kind of cool. We have a BRZRKR guitar pick, and so once we hit 7,000, everybody's going to get one of these.
Nice.
And then we've got like a Rockstar bookmark at 8,000, and then all the way up to 13,000. Trading cards, magnets, stickers. But one thing you guys might appreciate is that at 13,000, we buy Michael Bancroft another manly blouse. So we actually bought him the puffy shirt that he wore like a couple weeks ago. We sent it to him. So that's just kind of an inside joke. But honestly, if we do get close to 13,000, hopefully he'll have us back on, and we'll have to send him something. What do you think, Bill? What should we send him?
I don't know, man. It might have to be a puffy shirt, but with pancakes, like as an ode to Chappelle's show and Prince.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome, bro.
Would you guys like some pancakes?
This is kind of a unique tier, Dennis and Andy, is that we have a soundtrack, MP3 digital soundtrack by my friend Laz. And he's the guy that did the music in the trailer that you listened to.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's got a really edgy, kind of heavy metal vibe. So he actually designed this CD cover called Kiss My Axe. And so that's one of the perks that you can add as a download. And that's then, cool. We've got sketch tiers with Bill's artwork starting at $50 with the comics. All the original artwork is available for sale for $175 with all 6 comics.
North Free says, just curious, why don't you ship original art in the Indiegogo campaigns outside of America? That's got to be towards you, because that's not me. So
yeah,
I'm guessing cost, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I was prepared for the just the shipping of the books is like $30, but because I have 2 artists in the room, you guys have probably sent overseas. So what would I charge if I can?
I don't do this. So for the original art rewards in my campaign, I don't sell my original art, the full size. So all the art I do for the campaign literally will fit inside a comic bag with the book inside a Gemini mailer. So the cost doesn't go up. Because it's just a piece of Bristol board paper. I would assume 11 by 17 art shipping to another country like that. I haven't done that in a while, but you're looking at, for that size, it's going to go up probably like $50 just to ship it, I would think.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising, right?
Yeah.
Because even the boxes that I ship out, the boxes for 11 by 17 art, my box is only an inch larger than that. So a 12 by 18 by 2-inch box. So it looks like a pizza box when it ships out, but it's a lot safer than shipping a flat. I've had some pieces get damaged when I ship flats. But yeah, they can go $40, they can go $50, and it's super light. It's not, because they take ounces into consideration, but they also take dimensions into consideration too, into the formula.
So maybe I should ask North Free, is it worth $50 shipping?
Well, the way I would do it if I was you guys. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. There it is. This is the one I wanted. Look at that. You got a DNA variant set. So yay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
I mean, honestly, if I was doing the campaign and I was going to do 11 by 17 commission art to send out, I would just tack on whatever the shipping is. If somebody backs it at that, then
Right.
you know,
exactly for international
you know
shippers.
what I mean?
Yeah, for international backers, just be upfront with them specifically, saying, well, it's going to be an extra $40 or $50 for your shipping.
Yeah, as opposed
to yeah, exactly. As opposed to just denying it altogether.
Yeah,
that way they can decide themselves. Yeah, they can decide for themselves.
The most expensive Gemini mailer I think you sent out, Andy, was Australia, which was 25, right?
No, Australia was pushing close to 30, I think.
Okay, that was the $30. It was your most expensive one. I ship out Dungeons and Dragons books every once in a while, and I know depending on where over in Europe and stuff, and they're about the size you're talking, and they're heavy, you know, and they can range pretty good size. But you know, they ran anywhere from $50 to $70. So as long as if you guys just maybe weighed them and then figured out how big the boxes you're shipping it in, you stamps.com it or figure it out. You can go on to just figure out, look, the most expensive it would be say $50, $60 or whatever. And as long as you're up front, I mean, Andy had people buying them and they're willing to pay the shipping.
Wow.
Well, when I ship overseas, I also go to Home Depot and I'll get a piece of masonite like this, and I'll have them cut down to like 12 by 18, and I'll sandwich the art between the two pieces of masonite and then tape it up real good. So I don't even use a box when it goes overseas, just because it's going overseas.
Right. No, that's a good way to keep it. Yeah.
It doesn't cost. Like I sent something to it was either China or Japan last year, artwork wise, and I want to say it was like $65-$70, you know. So you just, you know, I think if you just put that down and they know it when they go to check out, if somebody buys it, they know what they're doing, you know.
Okay.
And when you think about it too, they're getting the book as well. So as long as you can package the book together with it, you know, it's kind of like, well, the book itself, right? Just going out of country is say $25. Well, what's another 25, 30? And I'm getting a piece of original art. You know what I mean?
True.
And
that makes sense. That's true.
Just ship it together. Definitely don't ship it separate, because then, I mean, if you shipped it separate, even I would be like, dude, save me on shipping. Put it together.
Okay.
You know,
that's a good point, guys. Thank you.
I wouldn't really sweat it too much, you know.
So,
power of the beard.
Oh, my wife says take the beard off. Hey, Andy, you can also use it as a toupee. I may have to.
I know. I see that.
I know. Well, I'm waiting for mine. That's why I have my hat on.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't
have the fresh shaving on the side right now, so I sort of look like a Caesar salad. So if I don't have it completely shaven, I just put a hat on. So I need my BRZRKR extra.
It's on its way, Bill. We just I fulfilled to my creators first before I did the Gemini stuff, so they're all getting their comp copies.
Keep me looking fly, man. Keep me looking fly.
Yeah. I did want to point out though, besides the great the great $69 tier that we have.
Yeah.
There's a Fear the Beard roadie tier, which I think is a good deal. You're gonna get all 6 books. You're gonna get the MP3 album. You're gonna get a really cool where's that? I have a Bill Mouse sketch card. Oh, here we go. This is like an example. One of Bill's sketch cards. So you're gonna get that.
Oh, very nice.
And you're gonna get the costume, beard, and all the stretch goals for $99. And I promise you, it won't be a beard that I wore. It'll be sanitary. You know, so that's kind of BRZRKR in a nutshell. And then, as you know, X-Farce, which was our very first campaign we launched in January, we just got that printed. So if you want, I could kind of show you X-Farce real quick.
Go ahead.
All right.
Whip it out.
Let me stop sharing.
Your turnaround time. I thought mine was quick, but BRZRKR is going to fulfill in June. That's hot, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, we're trying. We're cracking the whip on Bill. He works fast though. I have all the confidence in the world. he'll get
Oh
it
yeah,
done. So
we'll be good. We'll be good.
so X-Farce, as you know, Dennis, is our tribute to X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Bill and I, we grew up. I loved everything from the Kirby era all the way to especially John Byrne, Claremont, Terry Austin. Those were my premium years of reading X-Men. But we love X-Men, and when Marvel said, we're going to have Liefeld do X-Farce or X-Force, we knew it was going to sell big. It sold probably like 6 million copies. So being the entrepreneur that we are, we decided to ride on Rob's coattails, and it sold great. Thank you, Rob. And but we wanted to make our coming back to the comic book scene special. So we thought let's kind of give the deluxe treatment to X-Farce. And so what we did was we took some of the best parody press stuff that was only in black and white, and we had it all, recolored digitally. So you're going to get about 30 pages of previously released material, but that was only in black and white before, and about 18 pages of new material. So we have about 8 different stories in the book. Mike Barron's in it.
Nice.
He does a story for us. Kurt Hathaway, who's been a longtime letterer. In fact, we have a homage to John Byrne's Alpha Flight story, where he had nothing but word balloons. So,
oh man!
And then in the very center is Bill's beautiful, X-Farce 2-page splash with cable TV. So yeah, we had a really good time with this. It turned out great. I hadn't used a printer in several years, and we kind of took a gamble with somebody that was recommended to us, and nothing wrong. I mean, they delivered on time. It's printed in the USA. They just did a really, really nice job, and they're all in mint condition. So, Dennis, you'll be getting yours soon, my friend.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I love that cover because it's just like the one I showed earlier. Anybody who just joined, that's the original.
Nice.
Yep, Bill did a homage to himself.
That's awesome.
So we're running a special on this 3-pack tonight. So
cool.
I think one of your people already picked one up, but you're going to get all 3, the Bill Mouse variant, and then you've got Mark Lewis, who does a really fun 60s throwback. He even makes it look like it's weathered and, has distress. And on the first story is a 10-page X-Con's origin, and we had our colorist make it look like it's browned, paper that's been in your attic for like 50 years. And then Rob Willis, who everybody loves for his detail, he did the 3rd cover.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and this print run, was minuscule. Dennis, we printed 70,000 X-Farce back in the day, or 80. And I just went to milehighcomics.com to see how much they're selling for, because every once in a while, people ask me if I have back issues of Parody Press. And I have, just a couple of them, and I want to keep some. But I went to Mile High, and I was blown away. X-Farce, how much, Bill? How much was it on Mile High Comics?
X-Farce or X-Force?
X-Farce, our X-Farce.
X-Farce was worth a pretty penny.
$98.
Yeah.
No way.
98 bucks.
Wow.
And Liefeld's X-Force is still $6. So do the math. That was like 80,000 printed, and now we have X-Farce Reloaded, which was like less than it's like 1,000 print run.
Yeah. So Dennis, you might want to take that original copy and get it signed and slabbed.
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
The thing is, we do so many conventions and stuff, and I'm going to admit, I don't see this up there very often. So, that's pretty funny. And it's not one that I've had to do an appraisal for an insurance company on in like forever. So I'm like, that I didn't even know it was that high. I just learned something tonight.
That's awesome.
There you go.
We've got some diehard fans out there, and we did a spoof of the Max. Sam Keith and I worked on the Hamsters for a while, and we did a spoof of the Max. And I took a break for almost 15 years from comics, and when I come back, I find out that Sam has this rabid following of fans. He's almost like our generation's Bernie Wrightson. I grew up loving Bernie Wrightson, and so Sam's got this huge following, and our parody is selling for $400 on eBay. I couldn't believe it.
No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we didn't do very many compared to Image would probably print like 100,000 of Sam's book, and then our parodies were 5 or 10,000. So there's not very many of them, and they're kind of hard to find.
So what you're saying is, if things stay true to form, at some point in the future, say 10 years, 15 years down the road, these very, very small print runs of the books that we're doing right now be very difficult to find in stores, be very difficult to find trading. So I can imagine that the collector value would be nice. It would be it's so hard to find. Yeah,
well, honestly,
they're extremely hard to find.
With BRZRKR, you should try sending a couple to Garney and seeing if he'll shoot them over to whoever at Boom to get into Keanu's hands.
Oh man, that would be huge.
Whoa. Whoa.
I mean, why not? Just
absolutely, yeah.
Shoot Ron a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, if I sent you a few, as just to give you nothing in return, could you?"
Just the goodwill, just the universe will give back. Yeah, as much as Keanu is
and stuff, so why not?
He's such a cool guy and everything. That's if Keanu likes it, then it's like the universe will like us.
I think he would like it. We only speak so. We love. We're not doing it with malice. We're doing we're doing it because we're fans of his, and so we poke fun at John Wick and The Matrix and stuff, but it's not like we're cruel. We love Keanu, and we love the X-Men. We're not here to
exactly. Well, like you said, we're not malicious. It's like we're having fun with them, not at them or at their expense in a bad way like that. Yeah.
No, I hear you.
I had done the Rob Willis variant. I had to look at it because I remember backing it back then, and I was like, I think I got the Rob, and I did. I just pulled it up. It is the Rob Willis I had ordered.
Great. Yeah, Rob's amazing. He's very much in demand, and we had to wait almost like 4+ months for him to complete it because he was committed to other things. But we met so many great artists, and Bill is coming on streams lately and just kind of meeting, the different people that are doing comics through crowdfunding. And Bill's kind of a crowdfunding. You've been doing it for a little while longer than us, I think, right, Bill?
We've done a couple of Nira X crowdfunders. I think the first one we did a crossover with Fivefinity. They're a publisher. They do Zombie versus Cheerleaders. I've been working with I've been working with Steve Frank is the publisher there. I've been working with him on and off for years now, for a long time. So we did that one. I think we did like 12,000, something along those lines. Nira X's current publisher is Committed Comics. We did a Kickstarter with Committed, and I think for Nira X, it was for Nira X #2 Reborn, and we did over 15,000. So just little by little, just growing. It's like I really like that this is an ecosystem where people that it's actually growing. I see growth. I see like indie books actually creating its own niche and creating its own space. And we're sort of forced into a lot of the technology, and I think these are things we would have done eventually, but I think we're doing things sooner because of the state of COVID and the world melting for a little while, and in stores, the way everything is being affected by everything is very kind of a big domino effect.
Yeah,
an imperfect storm, I guess, because you really couldn't plan for any of these types of things to have happened. So it's really cool that we're actually kind of creating this. I think the next decade is going to be just really, really exciting. I think the things that people are going to be excited about are all of these smaller companies. There's so much talent out there, and we're able to actually sit down in front of a computer and talk directly to the people that are interested in what we do. We're all like-minded people. We all like the same stuff. And I'm not going through several different stages to get to the people that actually want to buy the book in the first place. So it's great to get that feedback. And I've been meeting more creators because of this situation than I have before. I go to a show. I do, we do a dozen shows a year. We do 20 shows a year, whatever it happens to be. But when you go do a show, you're working. You're at your table. You're drawing. You're meeting fans. You're doing artwork. So I don't really get a lot of time. By the time the show's over, it's time to go home. And I haven't really made new friends, and I haven't made new connections, and I haven't. And that's what everybody would like to do, is sit down and just spend a weekend hanging out and talking comics and talking shop, and sometimes you're not able to do that. But now, thanks to this, we are. It's amazing. It's really a blessing in disguise. That it's kind of, this is a huge silver lining to all of the negative that's kind of happened to everybody over the past year and a half or so. So I'll take it. I'll take all the good news I can get.
I hear you, man.
We were talking about that in probably about a month ago on one of our live casts, and Andy and I had said we're just going to start doing more of the indie books, because everything's so negative when you're dealing with the big two right now, and people are getting upset about this, and it's rigmarole behind the scenes, diamond and stuff, and the problem is most of us are just fans. We want to read a story to be told to us without all the garbage. And this really has become Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And I think Indiegogo's really taken the forefront on this. And I said, we're able to go out there and find all of this great stuff, and we get to communicate, directly with each other, versus, like you said, having to go through Marvel or DC and having to deal with the way corporate wants to do things and stuff. And everybody puts out really great books, and they listen to the fans. I really think this is where comics is going into the future.
Yeah, I feel like it keeps it fun. One thing I've noticed, just us talking here, which is kind of like a reflection of a lot of live streams talking about their indie books. You notice that Don and myself, we haven't mentioned anything about a social agenda, a social this or that. There's no behind the scenes drama. We're here to have fun. We're here to have fun and draw comics. And it's like, hey, do you like what we're doing? Awesome. This is what we're doing. It's like, this is a good time. This is, we're drawing pictures and coming up with cool ideas and being creative. That's what it's about. And it's an excuse for us to interact with each other. We're connecting with each other on a level that's just like, hey, we're the guys and the gals, and we're all just getting together and just having fun, having a good time.
Yep.
And finding a way to make excuses to continue having fun. And this is just a great way to escape, some of life's problems, and not even bring all that other stuff up. Just have a good time.
Yeah.
I was curious to ask Andy, you're new to crowdfunding. Are you doing just as well as you would be if you were working, for a company, or do you have a second job, or are you pretty busy?
No, I mean, honestly, no. I do. If I was getting a regular page rate and stuff for Marvel or DC, it would be better. However, I just got to a point last year where the funny thing is, I turned 50, and when I turned 50 a year and a half ago or whatever, I was like, it just kind of, I don't know. I just thought about it, and I was like, damn, you're not getting any younger. And I thought about First Man, and First Man originally came out as that one issue in 1997. And I just thought to myself, damn, even if all I did was draw one issue a year from 1997 to now, that'd be over 20 issues,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, it really is kind of like a now or never. And I was kind of, I'm kind of in the position to where I can work and make a little less to do what I want to do, which is this.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what I'm just going to do, and I'm going to try and build this.
Well, I like that you're choosing your happiness, your personal happiness, over the paycheck. But at the same time,
part of it is, look, I admit my wife has she has a steady job, and she's been with it for a while. And if it wasn't for that, it might be a different story, but she does. So, you know, knock on wood, I'm lucky in that respect as well, to where I can take a hit. And, you know, every now and then I do stuff outside of comics for advertising and stuff. And, you know, we all know that pays better than comics does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think the landscape's going to be different in a few years. This has really only begun. This whole stage.
Well, and I agree with you.
You know, so it's in its infancy right now. So if you're making any headway at all right now as a creator, wow, you know, it's like the future is actually looking really great.
Well, and I look at it like I think we all have to look at it kind of like a small business. And for me, at least, that's that old saying of, you know, any small business, you got to go into it for 5 years and know you're probably not going to make anything. You know what I mean? That's that's that saying they used to throw out there. And, you know, the first crowdfunding one I did last year that was on Kickstarter did better than I expected. And then when I want to do the second one, you know, when I want to bring First Man back, I originally did do it on Kickstarter, and it didn't work. So, you know, I talked to Ethan and stuff, and we chatted for a bit. And, you know, I've known Ethan for years. And I was like, yeah, I'll switch over. I'll make that move. I got, you know, I'll do the comicsgate thing, no problem. And did that. And, you know, this Kickstarter did well, and it's in, you know, First Man's in demand now and shipping out the next day. So, you know, and it did well. Now I'm working on the second one, so I can launch that in a couple months, because I want to leave this one out for a while before I launch the second one. And you know, just try and build it from there. So
that's awesome. That's good.
You know, I think it is. I agree with you. I think it is an exciting time. I'm still a big comic book collector, but where it used to be, I still go to the shop. You know, Dennis does too. We still hit the shop every Wednesday because we like to talk on our Wednesday show what we bought and stuff. But I'm buying a lot less than what I used to buy. And kind of like Dennis said, I follow creators more than I follow books. So I'll get some indie stuff. But more often than not, when it comes to collecting, like there was a one-day show in town yesterday here in Charlotte that I went to. And stuff I came home with was stuff that was at least 45, 50 years old. So, you know, that I collect. You know?
The Silver Age market is just skyrocketing right now, and I think people are getting tired of, you know, garbage out there. So they're either looking at this or they're going back and picking up bronze, silver, gold, even some of the copper now.
Yeah. So I think it is a good time. You know, when people ask me how to get into the business and stuff, I go, you know, when I got into the business, you know, 91, you remember, it was really just, you could count on one hand the number of companies you could send stuff to. And were there more companies than 5? Yes. But I'm literally talking about the companies that you could make a page rate off of that wasn't a joke. Right.
Yeah.
And now, granted, there's a lot more companies out there than there were back then, but it's still just a handful that can pay you enough to make a living at it. But with the advent of computers and Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you know, all the crowdfunding and web comics, there's so many other avenues to get your work out there than there was back then.
That's true. Yep.
You know, if you want to take a serious go at it, you can. So,
yeah,
you know,
now,
I think it's a
Andy,
good time.
when you got started, were you primarily a penciler and an inker, or one or the other?
No, I started out as a penciler. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I shot for. And I was lucky, you know, I went to the Kubert School, and I was lucky enough to get my first gig at DC in my senior year at the Kubert School, and it was penciling. And I always penciled, and I didn't really start inking until Bart Sears started Ominous Press back in '93. And he said, you know, I'd like you to be the art director. And along with that, we're going to start small where I'll pencil the stuff, but I want you to ink it. And then as the company builds, the next stuff we add, you'd pencil. But, you know, we just never got to that point because the industry took that big implosion. So, you know, basically from there, I just went back to penciling. And then, every now and then somebody would, an editor might ask me, hey, do you want to ink this? So like I inked Green Lantern for less than a year. I think I inked like 7 or 8 issues of Green Lantern. I don't remember, but it was over Daryl Banks. And if I've got nothing against inking, if it's somebody I want to ink. So when I got offered that, I was like, oh, I like Daryl's stuff. And, my buddy Ron was writing the book. So I was like, yeah, definitely. I got a chance to ink Keith Giffen at Marvel on some Spider-Man stuff. And I've always liked Keith's stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll ink Keith. What the heck? But besides that, I haven't inked that many guys because I'd rather just pencil. And then I got to the point where I could pencil and ink my own stuff. So there you go. Oh, look at that. There you go.
Thank you,
That's
Daniel.
a nice comment. Thanks,
Daniel.
Awesome.
Who were
Thanks
some
for
of your
joining the show.
I was going to say, who are some of your classmates at Qbert? Anybody we would know that made it?
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Well, a lot of the guys did a lot of stuff for Valiant coloring wise. So a friend of mine, Maurice Fontenot, did coloring at Valiant, but then he moved on to doing storyboards. And as far as I know, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he still lives in New York, still does storyboard work. Mike Cavallero did some stuff at Valiant for a bit, but now he has really become his own with a company called there's a small publishing company called First Second that does graphic novels, and he writes and pencils, inks, colors his own, create her own stuff for them. Matt Hollingsworth is a famous colorist who I went to
Andy,
school with.
I don't mean to be rude, but I think I have a dishwasher repairman at my door.
Oh no, dude. It's all good.
Can you let me just go answer that, and then I'll come back? Or if you guys are getting ready to, okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please continue.
It's funny, but I was going to say we were going to get to the rap part anyhow, but I was going to say, Matt Hollingsworth is a colorist. He's one of the best colorists in the business. He graduated, I'm pretty sure he went all 3 years. That's the funny thing, because I know people that dropped out after 2 because they were getting work. I'm pretty sure Matt went all 3. My buddy Steve Dutro, that does the lettering for everything I do, has been lettering since he graduated, and he's worked for Marvel, DC, MH, Dark Horse. Still lettering a bunch of stuff to this day. So, we graduated. My graduating class was only like 30-some students. And a bunch went into doing storyboard stuff. Oh, yeah. A friend of mine, Joe Daniello, who I always see when I go to LA. Joe is the director of American Dad. That cartoon.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, cool.
So he's been directing that. But he worked his way up. Like he moved to LA in the late 90s and was doing storyboard cleanup. And now he worked his way all the way, and he's been a director for a while now.
I've worn so many little hats along the way that, I used to work on Saturday morning version of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes for Saturday morning animation.
Oh, yeah.
Worked on that for a while. I worked at SeaWorld drawing caricatures for a few years. I do a lot of storyboard and a lot of graphic novels for movie pitches, which is there's a company out in LA called Storyboard. And it's a lot of the work when I'm not doing things that are actually going to be on a store shelf or on a Kickstarter, I'm usually doing things that a lot of people don't get to see.
Right.
So unfortunately, there's tons of work out there that I can't show anybody.
Well, there's stuff I've done, and it's on my website, not all of it, but there's stuff I've done that it's not, I can show it because it's on my website, but
sure.
It's been business to business stuff. So unless you're in that business that I did the work for, you won't see it. Right. So when people are like, oh, you say you do advertising, like what? I mean, I guess I use the term kind of loosely because some of the stuff I've done is more business to business stuff. I did work for a construction company last year because they wanted a comic book. Obviously, if they hire me, they want the comic book style. And if you're not in the construction field, there was a big trade show last February, right before COVID shut things down in Orlando. So they had banners up and stuff like that of mine. but you wouldn't see it unless you went to that trade show.
Unless you were there, right, exactly.
So, you know,
you have to have an extensive virtual website so you could actually take people through your entire life portfolio. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So they can actually see everything you've done.
But yeah, as of now, it's just working on First Man, and you know, something smaller comes along. And, you know, I don't make any bones about this either. You know, DC. I haven't. Last time I worked for DC was, I think, 2014, and then Marvel was right around the same time. And then we all see what's happening with DC right now. They're really shrinking, it looks like.
Yeah.
So they're doing they're doing the opposite. Instead of expanding, they're just constricting. And I know artists that used to be under exclusives that aren't anymore, and they're kind of doing what we are, figuring out what they want to do and what they need to do, because Marvel's not, you know, Marvel has their. To me, I look at Marvel and I see that they have their big guns like Lionel Francis Yu and Carlos Pacheco and guys like that, and there's maybe a few, and then it's this other talent that's not. I don't think they're bad, but I look at some of the stuff that comes out and I go, yeah, I don't think you would have gotten the job in 1991.
Right, a different atmosphere. And they're in the 90s, they were promoting artists like you. I could compare it to the movie industry or TV industry. It's like where, hey, this actor stars in this movie, so it's like you follow that actor no matter what the movie is. It's just like, oh, you consider seeing that movie. I think after the 90s, companies stopped promoting their artists like superstars, and they started making it more of a character-driven book as opposed to an artist-driven book. And it's I think half of that fear was because maybe they're afraid of their stable of artists all leaving at the same time and forming a company and doing their own thing on the side. But I mean, it's like which that's exactly when I started comics, is when Image became Image Comics. So it's like, for me, that was just like amazing. That was an amazing thing to see. And sure, I followed those artists wherever they went.
Sure.
But at the same time, when those companies stopped, when they got scared of that and they stopped promoting their artists and their writers as being the draw, and only promoting, because you kind of have to do a little bit of both. You do promote Batman or whatever the title is as, hey, you're buying a copy of this character. You know, if you follow said character, that's the reason you're buying the book. But also, it stars these people. These are the people producing the book. So you know what to expect, you know what to collect, you know what you're looking for. And I think when they stopped doing that, it was kind of shooting all of us in the foot a little bit, you know, because it devalued. It sort of made us the newspaper delivery kid on the bike as opposed to the person producing the thing, you know.
Right.
So sometimes I ramble, so it's like my analogies don't make complete sense, but
I think editorial changes as well. Like, you know, when I got in the business, when we got in the business in '91, you would see, you know, like all the editors at Marvel and DC when I got into business, and I'm not using this term in an offensive way, they all were there for a while. They were like the old guard in a way. You know,
the entrenched management in a way. That's like
when I got into the bit, when my thought when I went to the Kubert School, and even before I attended when I was in high school, was from reading comics, you would see creators' names as pencilers, inkers, colors, whatever, and then you'd open a book and you'd see that, oh, they're an editor, and it almost, to me, it was one of those things where, and this is how I would personally do it, if I had to hire an editor and I worked at Marvel or DC, the first thing I would do is actually look at talent that's been around for a while, you know, and say, hey, you've been doing this, you've been a freelancer for, 20 plus years, whatever. We have an editorial position open. You'd have to move, you'd have to work in-house and stuff. But, or who knows now with computer, with Zoom and stuff, maybe not. But my point is, my first thought would be, let me reach out to somebody who's been creating comics for 20 some years and see if they want to be an editor now.
Exactly.
Not, oh, you just graduated college and you're 22 years old. You'd make a great editor.
I know. You have Grammarly. You could do this.
Yeah, that just and nothing against them, but honestly, it's like, hey, you can be an intern, and you're 20 something. Right. You can be an intern, and then you can be an associate, and then an assistant editor, and then you can work your way up to editor.
You're sort of describing the catch-22 I see a little bit with producers, with certain types of entertainment, like movies or television, that sort of thing, where a producer, sure, they're a producer and their word is the bottom line, but they might not even be really familiar with the genre that they're producing. They're not really big fans of the books that they're actually supporting and bringing out. So sometimes they don't let the artist or the writer or the editor actually do their job. I know Kevin Smith has a bunch of funny stories about producers like making weird decisions on films. It's just like, no, we should have polar bears. And it's like, at the Fortress of Solitude. Why? This doesn't make any sense. No, polar bears. It's like he's got a whole bit about that's sort of like, wow. I've been in those conversations before, only because I'm in the most outer circle of things happening in those arenas. Yeah, I'm just the hired guy.
I did my time. You could say I had fun working on every project I work on. I try to make fun.
Sure.
I did an issue of what was the name of it? It was part of, I think, Grant Morrison's Seven Soldiers Frankenstein. And it was a miniseries, and regular artist was in deadline trouble. So they said, hey, can you draw issue 3? I think it was issue 3. I don't know. But I was like, yeah, I can do that. But it was, to me, it was weird casting. For me to do it. But I said, I'll do this. I'll make it my own, and I'll make it fun. I don't think Jeff Lemire, the writer, was too happy. I don't know if he was or not. All right, who's giving me the echo?
I don't know. It wasn't me. I didn't change anything.
Turn your mic off real quick.
I'm going to turn my mic off real quick.
Hello? Dennis, turn your mic off. Hello? It's Dennis.
That was me. I have nothing open.
That's why you got to wear. See how we all have these nice little things called earphones?
So you're telling me an hour and 22 minutes in, you started getting an echo?
I'm just telling you.
This is when your computer betrayed you. Yes.
Yes. Bad computer.
Hey, I
was live streaming with people before off of my phone. I actually had my phone up on a thing on my table, and when my phone started getting super hot, we started getting feedback off of my phone. So I'm on my desktop now, and now I had to buy these.
Well, that's why I always wear headphones, just because.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
I know. Everybody knows, but Dennis.
Dennis, I can always wear headphones next time, but then the big bulk.
Dennis is in timeout.
Uh-oh.
Dennis is in timeout.
You notice Dennis was talking just now, and I didn't hear any echoes.
Now you're back.
Nope. I think it's all in your head.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up anyhow.
Cool.
I totally appreciate Bill and Don joining us. We're a small channel trying to grow, so everybody please like and subscribe and hit the notification. There are links in the description below the video on YouTube for First Man and for X-Farce and BRZRKRs, so you can go back to stuff there. Thank you. I've always liked parody stuff, so I think the stuff looks really cool. Once again, thank you guys for joining us for the night.
You're welcome.
It was nice
Andy, Dennis, Don.
Yep.
Good to see you guys.
Don, it was good to meet you. And just so everybody knows, they've got the Dennis and Andy show, so I put the links up there, and they're good for 24 hours. So even if you're not watching it live, as you're watching it, it's good through today's Monday, so Tuesday the 13th. So if you want, make sure you pop on there before Tuesday the 13th at night here and get your specials.
That's right, guys. Wednesday night, Dennis and I will be back. We'll talk Falcon Winter Soldier. We got 2 episodes to discuss. since we were both out. We'll talk new comics and more. So join us Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And until then, bye, everyone.